Peace. How y'all doing? I'm just joining the Readers Are Leaders Challenge. So today I will begin with Powernomics. Even though I began reading, I'm gonna start over so that I can participate in the challenge and encourage others to read and build. All right. So this is Powernomics, the National Plan to Empower Black America by Claude Anderson. Excuse me, by Dr. Claude Anderson. Um, let's see. Okay, so this is about the author. Dr. Claude Anderson is widely recognized as one of America's most influential intellectuals and authors. His work has made Black history popular with all age groups. His book, Black Labor, White Wealth, The Search for Power and Economic Justice, is the foundation for programs, policies, and research solutions of the Harvest Institute, a national Black think tank of which he is president. He is a regular guest on radio and television talk shows and lectures frequently to business groups, universities, churches, and social organizations on the economic and political solutions that he proposes. Dr. Anderson's experiences span education, business, and all levels of government. He served as a state coordinator of education for Governor Reuben Askew of Florida during the tumultuous years of integration. President Jimmy Carter appointed him to the rank of an assistant secretary in the U.S. Department of Commerce, where he chaired a commission that funded and directed economic development activities for governors. He was the executive director of two economic development organizations for the city of Miami, Florida. As the highest ranking Black on the planning committee for the 1988 Democratic Convention, he awarded 37% of the contracts to Blacks, a record that has never been broken. A United States Marine, he was safety and survival instructor specialist in the Marine Air. He is a certified pilot and held numerous championship titles in wrestling, judo, and karate, and was a member of the Black Belt Federation during the 1950s through the 1960s. As an entrepreneur, he designed and constructed radio stations, aquaculture, and other businesses. Pardon me. Acknowledgements. And I've never read before, not out loud. I don't really read out loud or with anybody. I've normally read it myself, so this is new to me. If you get a couple chuckles in, that's cool, but join me. I invite you to grab a book and start reading it, daily and building with your audience. Acknowledgements. I am deeply indebted to those who over the centuries have challenged American slavery and Jim Crow semi-slavery and decried the wealth inequalities between blacks and whites that racism produced. I am also indebted to two Black heroes who called attention to the inappropriate behavior patterns of Black people. My writings are infused with their observations and efforts. Wealth inequity and inappropriate behavior are the two most fundamental problems facing Black Americans. Though it is not unusual to address the question of economic inequity, it is highly unusual to focus attention on the self-destructive behavior of Black people as a whole or Black individuals who mislead. In respect to self-destructive behavior among Blacks, the words of two historical figures, Harriet Tubman and Dr. Carter G. Woodson, stand out. Their words cut to the core of inappropriate behavior and compel us to accept the reality that many Blacks are more concerned about getting along than getting ahead. Well over a century ago, Harriet Tubman spoke her memorable lines at a public event in her honor. In response to the praise heaped on her as the Black Moses, who inspired and led more than 300 slaves to the freedom of the promised land of the North, she reportedly said, "But I could have saved thousands if they had only known they were slaves." The words of Dr. Carter G. Woodson, noted Black author and historian a century later, also moved me. Woodson said, "No people can go forward when the majority of those who should know better have chosen to go backward. But this is exactly what most of our Black misleaders do." These two outspoken Black champions from our past taught and inspired me. I want to also thank and acknowledge several other people in my life who worked directly with me to make this book possible. First, this book could not have been written without the support and loving assistance of my wife, Joanne Anderson, PhD. I thank her for her review, comments, and for her invaluable support in so many ways. She made this book possible by keeping my life calm, peaceful, and happy. I thank the supporters of the Harvest Institute. A special thanks to Edward D. Sargent for his commitment to this project and for his encouragement and assistance in shaping issues. I thank Kevin M. Briscoe and Sarah Lomax Reese for their editing and moral support, and Rene Toussaint for his illustrations. I believe that's his name, Rene. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I want to particularly acknowledge and thank Laura L. Gaines for the book cover layout and design. Her enthusiasm and creativity were incentives to the entire book team. Thank you to Derek Humphreys, Esquire, for his friendship and legal review, and to Shauna Jones and the many other people who supported me as I wrote this book and started a number of Powernomic projects for Black America.